Hey y'all, it's Jatari, and today I'm going to give you guys a little quick crash course of how Photoshop works. I'm a firm believer of learning by doing because if I went through this thing and showed you every single tool and every single, panel, it's going to be like 30 days. Okay, so in order for you guys to absorb the information, I put together these two projects here because I want you guys to focus on content creation. And when I say content creation, I really just mean moving pictures and text around. Okay, so I put these two like social media posts together here. I'm gonna walk you through how to do everything on here, like adding the text, adding color, adding pictures, editing pictures, putting them inside of shapes, all that type stuff. Okay, so let's get started. I am providing you guys with all of the files that I'm using and more actually. So I just have a bunch of pictures of Sabrina Carpenter. So I gave you guys a lot more images to choose from in case you want to not use the same exact ones that I'm using. I even have some icons in here. And then I think this is one of the fonts that I used. I can't remember. But yeah. All right. So let's go over everything. This is how the final outcome will look. So to get started, what we're going to do is go up here. When you first open up Photoshop, you'll see where it says new file right here. So just click on where it says new file. And we're going to focus on the size on, I just like to work with Instagram sizes, like for how they make their posts. So not the perfect square one and not a story post, but the one that's kind of in between. It's a portrait size post. So the size of that one, you want to make sure you go right here first. Okay, so change this to pixels, and then the width of those kind of posts are 1080 pixels, and then the height of those are 1350. Okay, so for the resolution, that can say 72. This can say pixels per inch. Change this to RGB, 8-bit, white, don't color manage, square. So if you have your setup all like this, then that's fine. So we're not focusing on anything over here in this region. These are just like whatever your previous like files were, like whatever the size of them were, then they'll show them right here. But typically, I don't even work with any of these up here. I don't like go through and use any of these presets because if I'm working on a project, I already know what size it needs to be. So, but yeah, it just varies. All right, and when I clicked over there, it messed my numbers up. Golly. So 1080, 1350, and then everything else here is good. All right, so once you have that set up, go ahead and check this little box right here that says artboard. So an artboard is just a canvas. So let's hit create. All right, so on your screen, you should have well, my screen is like tweaking right now. There we go. But on your screen you should have this white rectangle. So this is your canvas um or artboard. They mean the same thing. So this is where all of your objects will go, whether it's, your drawing, or you might be adding some letters or something like that, shapes. So all that stuff would go here. Okay. All right, so let's make sure that our panels and everything on here are matching because that does make a big difference. So that way you know where everything is. So let's go up to the very top and hit Window. Let's go down to where it says Workspace and then click on where it says Essentials Default. And then go back up to it again, Window, Workspace, and this time you want to go to Reset Essentials. Okay, so now once you hit that, everything should look just like this. So to get you guys kind of comfortable with knowing where everything is, all of your tools will be over here on the left side, and there's menus within these tools. Like when you click on one of the buttons, you'll see extra tools. So for example, you'll see this one right here. This is the brush tool. So if I click on it one time, then I'll be able to use it. But if I click and hold it down, then you'll see there's other things within that menu. Okay, so same thing with this shape tool down here. If I click and hold that down, at first it was just showing a rectangle, but if I click and hold it down, then it'll show the ellipse tool, which is a circle, triangle, polygon, So whenever you are looking at one of these icons and you see this little like small triangle in the right corner, that means it has more things to offer. Okay, so but yeah, that's your toolbar on that side. Depending on what tool you have selected or enabled, same thing, then you'll see different options up here at the very top. Okay, so the top bar up here, this is called your options bar. So if I'm on the brush tool, it's going to ask me like what kind of brush do I want to use. It might ask me about the opacity of the brush, and that just means how transparent something is, like how see-through or how harsh the brush is coming through. So yeah, so there's that one versus if I was to use, I guess, the type tool. If I want to add text, then it's going to ask me what font do you want to use. Do you want it to be bold, italics, thin? What size do you want it to be? What color? Do you want to curve the text? Do you want to left align, centered? So yeah. So again, depending on what you have enabled on the left side, then you're going to see different tools. You're going to see different options up at the very top. Okay. So you're never going to see the same options for the different tools that you're choosing. Okay. So now you'll see over here on the right side, there's like panels within panels. I'm going to show you guys what I feel like is the most important way to, I don't want to say most important, but the most practical way of setting it up. So you have your properties panel. So depending on what you have selected on your artboard, then different things will show up in your properties panel. So if I have a circle on my artboard, then it's going to ask me what color do I want it to be, if I want to resize it. A lot of the times, whatever is in your properties panel will also be in your options bar at the top. So they kind of show the same thing. Sometimes it just depends on what it is that you have. But yeah, I feel like the properties panel is really important to have. And then, of course, your layers panel. That's really important to have, okay? So, for example, let's say, you don't have to follow along with me on this one, but let's say I'm using my brush and I'm drawing something, right? And then I make another layer, but I might want this part to be red, but I want to make sure that the red is in front of the blue or above the blue, same thing. Or I might go and do something else and I might want to use green this time. And I might be like, oh snap, I wanted the green to be behind everything. So I can just look at my layers panel, click and drag that layer down, and now it's behind the both of them. So, but that's how layers work. It is what it sounds like. You just put things above or below each other. But it is really easy to, if you're drawing, it is really easy to accidentally draw on the wrong layer. So if I have my blue layer right here selected and I'm still on my green color, let's say I did want to draw on the green layer, but I do this and I mess up on accident and I'm like, oh snap. If I look over here at my thumbnail little image, it's showing me that I put it on the wrong layer and there's no way to get that off. So that's why you should always pay attention to your layers panel to know like where you are. Okay. All right. So let me undo all this stuff. Let's finish our setup for our panels. So let's get your properties panel. So if you see where it says properties on the actual word, that tab, you want to click and hold your mouse so that way you're able to drag it around, and you want to hover right here until you see this long blue line and then let go. So that way it'll show the entire thing, because you don't want to keep having to scroll in this little small window because you're going to need a lot of stuff in that properties panel. Okay. So the libraries one, I click and drag it out and I just exit out. Nobody need that thing. Adjustments, there to me there's no point in having this right here because you can access it down here. So I'm just going to click and drag that over here, X that out. And for the color, I'm going to hover my mouse right here and click and drag it up because it doesn't really need to be that big. And then I'm able to see everything in my layers panel, because when you're working in Photoshop, you're going to have a whole lot of layers. So again, you don't want to be scrolling in this small little window. You want to be able to see as many layers as possible. Okay. Just to kind of make your workflow a lot better. All right. So so we have this one artboard here. So if you look back at the ones that I made here, we're going to end up having 2 artboards. So I'm going to show you guys how you can add another artboard. So let me click back over here. So right now I have one artboard. So if you want to make another one, you just want to go up here where it says layer and then go to new and then go to where it says artboard. Okay, then you'll have this window right here to come up, and then you can rename it if you want to. I'm going to call this one circles, and then the other one I'll call that one. And if you want to rename it right here, you can. You can just double click on the text. I'm going to call the one on the left, the one that says artboard 1. I'll call that one like class. Something like that. I don't know. All right. So we have these artboards, but we don't technically have any layers just yet. So if you want to add a layer, if you look inside of your layers panel, which is this entire thing right here, you'll see the square with the plus sign on it. So just click on that. And you can easily remember because the plus sign, you're thinking of adding something. So I'm adding a new layer. So if you look right here, this new layer was added to the class artboard. It wasn't added on this side. So if you want a layer to be added on the circle side, then you would just have to make sure that you click on that artboard. Yeah, you click on that artboard. I forgot the terminology. But yeah, you click on that artboard and then you want to add a layer. So now it's on that one. Okay. But for right now, I want us to only focus on one of them. So I want to focus on just the class one. And so for the circles one that we're working on, you can just kind of collapse this little artboard thing right here and then hit the eyeball. And when you hit the eyeball, it's not deleting it, it's just hiding it. Okay. And if you want to bring it back, you can just hit that little empty space right there where it was, then it'll come back. All right. So I'm going to hide it for now. So I'm going to go to this layer right here. And just to make sure that I have my file saved, so that way when I'm working, I already have the file made. Because like in case it crashes, it could delete all your stuff. So just letting you know. But I have everything set up here. So let's just go up here and do file and then save as. And I'm just going to put this, I guess, on my desktop. And I'll just call it Sabrina. I'll just put YouTube video. All right. In case you don't know, when you see like a file and it ends in like PNG or JPEG or something like that, JPG or JPEG, Photoshop files end in PSD, or it could be really any one of these, but PSD stands for Photoshop document. Another one that you might see is PSB. That's just a larger Photoshop document, but typically you're going to see PSD. So, and then the icon looks like this. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to save this on my desktop. I'm going to hit save. So now I'm good. So what we want to do first is, let me get my reference. All right, so you should be able to get the image and copy and paste it, or just bring it over into your artboard. But what I'm going to do on my end, I'm just going to screenshot it because I need to. All right, so I'm just screenshot it on my other screen. I'm just going to paste it over here. All right, so something that I like to do is I kind of trace my designs. If I'm like working with a reference, I'll do that to figure out where I want something to be. So you can just easily get yours from wherever your files are and just easily click and drag it over into Photoshop. Okay. All right, so I have this here. So what I want to focus on first are the graphics. So that's the visual of Sabrina here, the one in the background, and then I have the lipstick here as well, and also her like logo, her signature, her initials. Okay, so and you see, since I brought this photo over into here, I have that layer right there. So now what I did was I made it bigger so that way it would be about the same size as my artboard. So let me show you how that works. So on your end, you probably don't have these little squares and like the blue outline around your entire image that you brought in. But if you don't see them, make sure that you're on this tool right here. This is called the move tool. So the move tool allows you to move things, resize things. But by default, Photoshop doesn't have these blue things to be showing. So if you want them to be shown, then make sure over here in your layers panel, you click on that layer of your image that you just brought over. And then you want to go up here where it says show transform controls. And when you click on that, then you'll see the outline around it. Okay. But you will only see this up here if you're on the move tool. Okay. So remember, I told you, depending on what tools you have enabled over here, then you're going to see different options. So just think about that. All right. So something else that Photoshop does by default is it'll have this auto select feature on. I got beef with that feature. Turn it off. Okay, just uncheck it. Okay, because we're going to have a lot of layers on here. So if you have auto select turned on, if there's a bunch of stuff stacked up and you're trying to click one thing, it's going to keep selecting something else. Okay, and I hate that. Okay, so just make sure that it's not checked. Make sure it's not checked. Make sure it's not checked. Okay. All right. So you want that to be unchecked, and then where it says show transform controls, you do want that checked, so that way you're able to resize this. All right. Okay. And also, even though I'm using like a stylus and stuff, it's the same exact thing as a mouse. All right. So I don't want you guys to think it's different. All right. Okay. So I'm going to resize mine about there. Now, let me tell you something else. When you go to resize something or to move something, okay, let's say I want this to be about right here. When you go to move something or resize something, Photoshop is going to ask you if you're sure that you want that change to be like made. Okay, so I made this size difference here, and its way of asking me if I want to make sure that I want that change to be made. You'll probably either see this little bar right here, and then you'll see the word done, or you'll see the check mark up here at the very top. Okay, so if you go and try to do something else, it's not going to let you until you confirm that change. Okay, so if you're like going crazy and you're like, oh, this stuff isn't working, just look for those things. Okay, but usually you'll see this thing pop up right in front of you, so you can either hit done or the check mark, and then it's like, oh, okay, I understand that you want that to be how it is. Okay, all right, so I like to put this part in the back. So, and obviously it's just the only one layer. So, duh, of course it's in the back. So, what I'm going to do now is go to my folder where I have all of my assets. So, all the images that I provided you guys with, that's what is in here. So, I'm just going to use what I use in this one. I don't want to switch it up. So, I got to get this image of Sabrina here, and I also use this one. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag. I haven't let go of the mouse yet, but I'm gonna wait for it to say copy. If you're on a Mac computer, it's the same thing. So you just want to kind of hover there for a second and then let go and give it a second. Now it's doing that thing that I just told you about, where you gotta either hit done or the check mark, or you can hit enter on the keyboard. Same thing. But yeah, I'm just gonna hit done for now, just to make sure it brought it over. And then you want to click and drag this down, and don't worry about cutting the background around her. We'll worry about that later. That's a little advanced. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to try to make this about the same size, maybe about right here or so. Okay. And I can always readjust it later. Okay. So real quick, I want to show you guys something. If I was to go to Google, and I'm just going to type in Sabrina Carpenter. Okay. So if I come over here and I just get an image, let's say I want to get this one. If I right click it and then do copy image, right? So when I do that, the image has not been saved to my computer. It's just in my pasteboard. That just means I just copied it, right? So if I come over here and I try to paste it, and if you want to paste something, it's either Control V on a Windows computer or Command C. Command V. I'm so sorry. All right. So if I put this here, I want you to know the difference between this image that I brought from another source, that I just copy and pasted from another source, versus an image that was already on my computer. So this image of Sabrina was already on my computer because you saw me, I got it from on my computer in this file. I clicked and dragged it over here. But for this one, I just got it from the internet. Okay. All right. You understand that? Cool. So with this image of Sabrina, I can size it down if I want to, and I can size it up, and it's still going to keep the resolution the same. Okay. Now, really, any image that you bring in, you don't want to make it any bigger because it's going to be blurry and pixelated. You only want to get images and make them smaller. Okay. From the original state. But with this one, okay, from the internet, if I get it and make it smaller, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want it to be like that, and I go do some stuff and come back to it later, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I think I might want it to be back big like this again. Girl, it's blurry. So what you gonna do? Here's the reason why. You'll see what I'm saying. Okay, so this little thing over here, this is called a smart object. So whenever you see this little icon, that means something it's saved. Like the resolution is going to be fine. And this one, you saw me size it down and bring it back up, and everything was okay. But even if I get this one again and size it back down again and try to make it bigger again, it's gonna keep getting more and more blurry. Okay, so you might think, oh well, what in the world is happening? So this is what you got to do. First of all, you got to delete it. Okay, now I'm going to paste it back in here. Now from this, I can't make it any bigger, but I can make it smaller and bring it back bigger, and not have it to be, blurry. But what you want to do is go over here in this empty area right here, and then right click your mouse. Notice I'm not right clicking on the text, and I'm not right clicking on the thumbnail. I'm right clicking in this empty area over here on the layer. Then you want to go to convert to smart object. Now you see that little icon right there. Okay. So if you don't see that icon, that means that that object is not a smart object. So if I was to get this and size it down and hit done and then bring it back up, it's saved. Okay. The resolution is perfect. All right. So I just want you to know that. So that's why typically I like to save my images to the computer before putting them into my document. Okay. All right. So we got that part situated. So what we're going to do is cut her out of this background. And it's not as simple as you may think. So let me show you this one thing. So I'm going to hide this layer of Sabrina right here. So the one that the reference is on, I'm going to hide that one. So I'm going to probably put her, like I said, about like right here or so. Okay. So if you have this little bar right here, you might be like, oh yeah, it's easy. I can just hit remove background. You can, but hold on. I'll show you something. But if you go up here to, if you don't see this bar right here, just go up to where it says window and then contextual taskbar, and then you'll see this little bar right here. Okay. So if you are on this layer, if you have it selected, you want to go right here and just hit remove background. Now, this is not the only way to remove backgrounds. This is not the only way to remove backgrounds. This is not the only way to remove backgrounds. Okay. This is just like a little, little hack that Photoshop added recently, and they're like trying to push their AI features. Okay. But in this case, I'll go ahead and hit remove background. Now, depending on how complex your subject in the photo and the background are, then it might be a bit more difficult to, get rid of the background. Now, this one was a lot easier because Sabrina is on this blue background, right? So all Photoshop is doing is using AI to be able to tell, what's the contrast between Sabrina, well, your subject and your background, right? So there's really nothing that's this color blue on her, so it's not gonna mess it up. So think about when you see people doing special effects in movies and they are up against a green screen. Well, as long as you're not wearing any kind of green clothing, then you're fine. Nothing's gonna like get cut out or blend in with the background, right? So that's the same thing here. Okay. So once you go ahead and hit the remove background button, you'll notice a difference in your layers panel. So if you look over here where this layer is, let me bring this over slightly. Okay, but if you look over here in your layers panel where this was, it was just the regular image of Sabrina, but now you see this like black and white box right here. So this right here is called a layer mask. Okay, so you did not delete the background. It's just hidden. It's just masked out. Okay, so but I mean, if I want to bring some of the stuff back, then I'll show you how to do that. But you never want to use the eraser tool. Okay, and the reason why you don't want to use the eraser tool is because it actually deletes your pixels. So you might think, oh, I could just hit the undo button and I'll be fine. Girl, no. You might be fine for that second, but if let me show you. Let's say if I didn't have, let me see. Let's say I didn't have that little background thing. I'll hide this. Let's say this wasn't even a smart object. I'll just flatten everything. I'll make it a rasterized layer. If I get the eraser tool right here, and I'll just go ahead and start trying to erase. First of all, it's going to take a long time. But if I sit here and try to erase all this stuff, and let's say I hit save, right? And I might close out my document, and I might go back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm back from the beach. Let me go ahead and open my document back up. Okay. So if I get the document where I use the eraser tool at, if I sit here and try to hit undo, nothing's going to happen because, baby, those pixels are gone. They're erased. They're deleted. Okay. So that's why I just personally never use the eraser tool. Okay, but that's called destructive editing. You're actually deleting the pixels. Okay, but over here you're all good. They're just hidden. Think about like how it is with Mardi Gras. When people have on the little mask, they might you take it off. They're still the same person, right? Same thing. All right, Halloween, same thing. You're still the same person. Okay, so but as long as you have this, then you're good. Now, depending on what photo you used, it might not have gotten everything out or kept everything in like you want it to. So let me show you how you can fix that. So firstly, what I like to do is if you hold down the shift button on your keyboard, if you hold it down and then just click one time on your layer mask, then it'll temporarily like show you how it looks with the mask turned off. Okay, so I like to kind of go back and forth doing that, and I'll just look at different areas, like find areas like the hair and things like that, just to see if I need to bring anything back. So anything important really. Because I mean, when it comes to the hair, like when it comes to hair, you don't have to get every single hair strand if you don't want to. But I'm kind of just looking at her hair here. Like, oh snap! Sometimes that might happen if you're on a Windows computer. But I mean, this little piece right here, I kind of want to get rid of that. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. All right, so I'm going to click right back over here on my layers. I mean, on my layer mask. And you know if the layer mask is selected if you see the white like outline around it. So make sure that is selected. Make sure it is selected, okay? So what you want to do is go to your brush tool. So if you hit B as in boy, then that's the keyboard shortcut for getting the brush tool and enabling it. If I click and hold this down, it will show you the other tools, but just make sure that you're on this first one right here, because sometimes you could hit the letter B and it could select one of these, but just make sure you're up here on the first one. Okay. So now you're going to be on the brush tool, but let's go ahead and make sure it's set up right. So you want to go right here. You'll see a little number and like the visual of what your brush would look like. And you'll see this little drop down arrow, not this one on the left side. You want to go to this one right here on the right side. Okay. So you want to click on that one. Then you should see something like this. Yours might be smaller. Yours might even look like this with everything like collapsed. But and you won't have as many brushes as I do. I like actually went and downloaded these. But you just want to go to where it says general brushes, and you'll see these. So really what we're going to be using are just these two right here, the soft round brush and the hard round brush. So I'm just going to use the soft round brush for right now. And if you want to change the size of your brush, you can play around with this little like slider right here. But it kind of is a lot to go all the way back up there and then try to you know, change the size. So I just use this keyboard shortcut. So if you make sure your caps lock is not turned on, by the way, because if it is, then your cursor will look like this. But if you turn it off, then it'll look like this. So you can see what the actual size of your brush will be. But if you look at the letter P, as in penguin, on your keyboard, look at that letter and then look to the right of that. Then you'll see a bracket. So that's your left bracket. But then if you look to the right of that, then you'll see the right bracket. So the left one, if you tap that a few times, notice how it's making my brush get smaller. And then if you tap the right one a few times, it'll make the brush get bigger. So I like doing that instead of going all the way up here and moving the slider, because who got time for that? Anyways, so I'm going to look at my layer mask, make sure that it is selected. And I got to just ask myself, do I want to hide something or do I want to reveal something? Okay. So this little piece of her hair, I want to hide it. So if you look at your colors over here, the black color is what allows you to hide things, and the white color is what allows you to reveal things. So just think of, you know, light and dark. So if you think of like light, like what you can see, you know, like sunlight, you can see things, and then in the dark you can't see anything. So that's how I kind of see it. Okay. So and then you'll be able to switch back and forth between these two. So if I want to hide this area here, oh, I didn't show you guys how to zoom in and zoom out. I'm so sorry. If you want to zoom in, hold down the control button and then hit plus a few times if you're on a Windows computer. Then if you want to zoom out, hold down control and then hit the minus button. Okay. And that's, you know, that's all there is to it. And then if you want everything to be like centered, hold down control and then hit 0, and it'll like, it won't be centered if you got multiple artboards, but it'll make you be able to see everything. All right. And then if you want to pan around across the whole thing, hold down space bar and you can, you know, my bad. I always forget to teach people that. I'm so sorry. All right. So let's zoom into this area here. Personally, I want to get rid of this part. So I have my color already right here on black. If yours is not on black, then just hit this little, these two like double arrows here to switch it. Or a keyboard shortcut for that is just to hit X on the keyboard. Okay. All right. But I need my black to be shown because I want to hide this part. So once I start painting right there, then it will hide it. Okay. And then this area here, I think it looks fine. It's nothing really serious. Okay. Like let's say I want to hide this part of her elbow. I don't know, then you can. But I feel like everything here is fine because I'm really only doing this so that way I can make it look like Sabrina is in front of this picture of her right here. Okay. All right. So I know that was a lot, but you'll be okay. All right. So I have this photo of her right here. Now I'm just going to bring this image here back. And now if you look at the like the layout, you can see like this is the one that I cut out, and then this is the image, right? So you can tell she's all cut out of the image. Okay, so this will make it a lot easier for me to place it. I'm gonna put her about right there, like how I did in mine. Okay, now let's make sure that we're saving our document. Let's make sure that we're saving our document. Let's make sure that we're saving our document. Okay, I should have an ASMR channel. All right, so I have this here. So if you want to save your document, you can hold down the control button and then hit S on the keyboard. Or you can hold down command and then hit S if you're on a Mac computer. Or if you don't like keyboard shortcuts, just go up here to where it says file and then hit save. And if you ever forget these keyboard shortcuts, it tells you what it is right there. Okay, same thing with these. If I go over to the brush tool and hover on top of it, it'll tell me what the keyboard shortcut is right there. It says B. All right. Okay, so we got that part down. Now we need to make it look like Sabrina is in front of herself. So let's go over here, and we want to get this image of her right here. So I'm going to click and drag that one over. All right. So the way that I did mine, I flipped the image. So I'm right here on this one. I want to click. I'm not dragging anything. I'm just going to click right here on the little square one time. And then right here in your little bar, it's going to ask you if you want to flip it horizontally or vertically. So I want to flip it going this way. So this is horizontally. So if you click that, then it'll flip the image like, you know, like this. Or you can do that if you want to. Totally up to you. All right. So I'm going to flip her this way. I'm going to hit done. And I'm trying to see how I did it in my original one. Oh, I just have her eyes. So I'm going to zoom out so that way I can see this entire box, right? I'm going to put it about right there. Now, in order to be able to see like how this image of Sabrina is going to be positioned, I'm going to get this layer and drag it down behind her. Okay. So if you look at my original image, you can see it's really just her eyes, like I said. So I ended up getting this image, and I think I rotated it because if she was like too far back and I didn't like want her mouth and nose to be seen. So I'm going to put it about here. But if you want the nose and mouth to be seen, you can. It's up to you. Okay. All right. I think I probably went about right there. About there is fine. It's just that I don't want the left eye to be like, I don't want the left eye to be too close to the edge of the document. So I probably ended up making, that looks about right. Okay. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. Now you might be like, girl, what about this blue background? You know how to get rid of backgrounds. You don't need my help. Okay. So if I hide this original image, I'm going to hide this one of Sabrina as well. But we could just hit remove background. Give it a second. Okay. And that looks good already right there. So I see in mine, it had kind of got rid of a little bit, like a bit of her shoulder right here, but it doesn't matter because this one's going to be in front of it. So it doesn't matter. All right. So, that looks good. All right. So now, and I kind of see how like this part here, let me see. Am I tripping? I'm trying to see like what is missing. Oh, it's white on like the top of her dress. Okay. Cause I was like, is something missing? All right. Yeah. So we're good there. Okay. So now you might think, oh, well, all I got to do is just add a blue background. I used the same background from like the image. I didn't even add a blue background. So let me show you what I did. So I'm going to get this image of Sabrina, like the very first one that we have, the one that shows her whole body. So I'm going to get that one. I'm going to duplicate it. So if you want to duplicate a layer, there's like 5 ways, but here's the quick one right now. Make sure you're on that layer, right? This one, the one that you want to duplicate. Hold down Control or Command and then hit J as in Jatara. All right. So once you do that, then it'll make a copy. So you want the copy to be in the very back. Well, not, you know, with this one, but you want it to be right above your reference image. Okay. So this one says Sabrina 02 copy. I'll click and drag that one down. Okay. And you might be like, girl, I don't see nothing. Hold down Shift. Okay. And then click right here to hide the mask. Now you have that there. Okay. So you might be wondering, well, what about the white space that we have here? We're going to use AI to clean that part up. Okay. So let's hide this top one and this one, so that way we only have this layer right here. I'm gonna hit save because I just be getting worried that something gonna end up, you know, crashing and then my file won't save. It'll delete everything. All right, but yeah, so that's what you should have there. So what you want to do is go right here to this tool here. This is called the rectangular marquee tool. So it allows you to select things. So I'm going to go right there. You're going to click and hold your mouse down and come over here. Now, don't select like right here at the line, okay? You want to get a little bit of the blue inside of that, okay? So in case you mess up, just redo the line again. Just click. I like to click all the way out here, and then I'll just drag it down. Okay, so you can do that. And then you want to hold down the shift key on the keyboard, and I'm going to click and do the same thing here. Okay. All right, so this is just telling Photoshop where you want to sample from. Okay. So again, if you have this bar right here, you want to see where it says generate a fill, and then you want to click on that one time. It's going to ask you what you want to generate, but in this case, you don't need to type anything. So just hit generate. And it might give you different options than mine. Our options will not be the same, I promise you. You just want to pick something that's going to, you know, be blue and match the background. So that's perfect. Okay. So it'll give you 3 options, but I see that they all look the same. Like in some of them it looks like slightly lighter or darker, but you don't need all that stuff. Just pick the one that you like. Okay. I'm just going to pick this one. And to keep your file smaller, you can just delete the ones that you don't want. Okay. So that's how that works. But let me show you like how the layers work when it comes to using these generator fill layers. So if I get this image of Sabrina and I hide it, this is what the layer looks like. This is what you just created, this entire thing right here. Okay. Like notice like the bounding box and everything, like that's what that looks like. Okay. So let me hit undo. In case you don't know what undo is, it's Control Z or Command Z, or go up to edit. Wait, am I lying? Edit and then undo. Okay, my bad. I be assuming everybody know what that is. Anyways, so but yeah, so you have that part there. Okay, so to me, these layers are the same thing, so I like to link them together, because let's say I wanted to move this image of Sabrina. If I move her, you can see the blues in the background, they're like getting off, and then she's getting cut off too. So I like to link these 2 layers together. So what you want to do is have that layer of Sabrina selected, hold down the control button, and then click on this layer too, so that way they'll both be selected at the same time. Now you want to go down to the bottom of your layers panel. You'll see this little icon that looks like a chain link. So you want to click on that one. Now, let's say I click off of it and just click on only one layer. Then when I move this one, it's going to move them together. Okay. All right. So let me hit undo there. I'm going to hit save again. All right. So everything looks good. So let's get this one of Sabrina. So, and then you want to get the very top one of Sabrina. So notice how in the, I'm going to get my reference image. Let me also rename this. Ref image. Okay, so let's say you get the reference image and you look at how the background one of Sabrina looks a bit see-through. So what you want to do to accomplish that effect is get the one of Sabrina where she's like, you know, bigger. So you want to make sure that layer is selected. Over here in your layers panel, you'll see this word that says opacity, and it should be at 100%, not the fill one. We're on the opacity one. Okay. So you want to just get that number and then just lower it, and it'll look a lot more see-through. So there's no one number you have to have. I just keep messing around with it till I just get something that looks good, you know. So I'm going to put mine at 41, 42, whatever. Maybe you want to do 20, maybe you want to do 50. It's up to you. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit save again. Okay. So I have that part there. Now what I want to do, and there's really no one order you got to go in. I'm just going to go and do the text next, because it's just really easy. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to get my reference image. Actually, I'm going to lower the opacity on it, and I like to use it, like I said, to trace it. Okay. So I'm going to get my text tool or my type tool, same thing. You want to go right here where the little T icon is, or you can hit T on the keyboard to activate it. I'm going to click on that. Now, Listen, I recommend that you click and drag out a text box. Don't just click, okay? The clicking thing, it might confuse you, okay? If you click and then just delete it and then do what I just said, okay? Just, trust me, all right? But yeah, so what I want to do is just type in model. And I like to have a lot of my text to be in separate text boxes. I'm not going to put all this in one text box because then it's harder to control it. Like imagine if I had all this text here, and then I get this portion, I resize that one and change the font, and same thing here. It's too much because they're all still in the same text box. You don't have a lot of freedom. Okay, so I'm just going to type in the word model. Okay. Don't worry about the size of it for right now. Just worry about, the format of it. So I want to use, you can really use whatever font you want to, but the one that I used was Classical Diary Demo. I think. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so I use this one. So, and you can get this font from dafont.com. So DAFONT.com. But yeah. But I would just make this about the same size. Okay, so that one looks good. So don't worry about the color and all that. Just lay it out first, and we'll worry about the color in a minute. So if you want to add the word posing, you could go back over here and get the text tool and make a text box and type it out. But I like to work smarter and not harder. I'm just going to duplicate this. So you can hold down the control button and then hit J to duplicate that model layer. Okay, so you have this one. And then you can just get rid of all that text and then type in the word posing. Now, let me say this. You have probably been having the issue of where you try to type in something and then it's doing this, where it's like not showing all of your letters. This means that your text box is too small. And it also means that your actual text is too big. Okay? So, to combat that, what you want to do is get right here. You'll see this like dashed black outline around your text. You want to go to the end right here, not on the plus sign, but you want to go right here and click and drag it over like this. And even if it like gets cropped out, it's fine. Just keep going. Okay. So once you're able to kind of somewhat see everything, I'm going to push mine back this way. Then you just want to hit the check mark. And then there's a couple of ways to resize things. So after you hit the check mark, if you're still on the move tool, okay, notice I did not see the text tool. I said the move tool. Big difference. All right, so you'll see a little blue outline around it, and then you can just resize it like how you were doing with the pictures earlier. So you can do that. Or if you double click inside of here, you might have to triple click. I don't know. Typically, I'll just double click on this to do that, right? Then you can go over here and then just pick a different size. Okay, so even though this little list right here stops at 300, yours might stop at 150 or 72. It's different on different computers. But you can still type in whatever number you want to. So if I get rid of that and just put something like, I don't know, 45 and then hit the check mark, then it'll change just that. Okay. All right. But I'm going to go up here and actually, let me go and see what the size was for. Let me hit undo. Okay. But the size that I did for model was 246.87. So I kind of want to have that to be about the same thing. All right. Because I think the word posing is like slightly smaller. Yeah, it is. Okay. I can kind of tell. All right. So you can also like use your mouse to click and move things around. But if you zoom in, it allows you to move in like smaller increments. You can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard. So if you want to nudge something to the left, up, down, or to the right, then you can just tap the arrow keys a couple of times. But if you want to move in bigger increments, so like notice how mine is kind of moving, like that. But if you hold down shift and then go over, it moves it in bigger increments. Okay. So I'm going to put this here. It does not have to be exact at all. Graphic design is really all about like eyeballing. Like it doesn't always have to be like super perfect. It kind of depends on what your client wants and like what the kind of project is, but okay, so I'm going to put that about right there. Okay, so now I need to work on the word masterclass, so I'm just going to duplicate this. If you're feeling a little bit fancy, then you can really duplicate things the way that I like to. If you have something selected right here, if you hold down the Alt key, the ALT key, or the Option key if you're on a Mac computer, you can hold that button down and notice how my cursor looks like these double cursors. So you can click and drag down and let go to duplicate something. It's the same exact thing as hitting Control J. It's the same exact thing as hitting Control J. All right. So I'm just going to get this and make it a bit smaller. I already know that I'm going to have an issue with the text box size because of Masterclass having so many more letters than the word posing. So I'm going to double click this, make it wider. I'm going to go ahead and type in the word Masterclass. Now the font that I use for this one, if you want to select all this, you can just easily do that, by the way. But the font that I use for that one, I think I use Poppins. I cannot remember. I want to say I used Poppins and I like made it kind of like thinner. I didn't italicize it. It's probably the light one. Yeah, yep, that's what I used. All right, so I have that one. I'm gonna hit the check mark. I just want to make it a bit smaller. So you might notice that there's some spaces in between all of my letters. Okay, so you wouldn't go in there and hit space bar each time because that's tacky. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm gonna double click on this or triple click, whatever you got to do to get inside of the actual text box, right? I'm gonna make this a lot wider, so you could just, click and drag that. Y'all did that part already. Okay, so now with all this text selected, or you can just be in this mode, either one. You want to look over here in your properties panel and you'll see there's a V and an A, and right next to it yours might say 0. I'm not talking about this one right here. I'm talking about this one. Okay, so if you click inside of there and increase that number, I'm just hitting the up arrow on the keyboard, but if you increase that, then it'll add more spacing in between your letters. Okay, so this is called the tracking. So if you hover right here, it'll say, there we go, set tracking. All right, so all tracking means is just the spacing in between your letters. All right, I want this to be as close as possible. All right, so that looks good, y'all. I'm so proud of us. So, are you okay? You need a snack? You need water? Yeah, you're good? Okay. If you pause it if you need to, okay? All right, so we got that part down. The little diamonds right here, we'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna focus on the text first. All right. So, but I feel like you guys have pretty much got it already. So I'm just go ahead and go through the rest of it. But yeah, so I can't speak English. I'm gonna just do the master your pose part, but really it's not that hard. I'm just gonna type in master, but I gotta make the text smaller, but it's also, I think, medium. I gotta also make the spacing in between be 0. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Come on, girl. See, if you try to double click it, it won't work. Just keep trying. Or like I said, double click on the actual T icon over here. Okay, but I did master your pose, confidence, and on demand. Wait, why I said on demand? I'm so stupid. On camera. I said on demand. Probably because I saw that word earlier when I was watching TV. Okay, presence. So I want you guys to notice something else too. If I keep doing this, it's going to like resize my my text box. So like it'll push my text around. So the way that I did mine was I wanted master your pose, confidence on the same line. Then I wanted the ampersand and then on camera presence to be on all one line. Okay. So, this is supposed to be italicized. So let me make it a bit smaller, about there. And then it should probably be medium italics. There we go. Okay, that looks good. But yeah, if yours is, again, if it's not the exact same thing, it is okay. Because this is actually my 3rd time doing this. And each time it kind of looks somewhat different. Okay. All right. So So I guess like since we're, you know, kind of working our way through, let's talk about how to change the color of these. So I'm gonna go back to my model posing one. I'm gonna go to that layer. So right now the color of the text is black. If you look over here in the layers panel, you'll see where it says color. You can just click on that one time, and then you'll have this color picker. So you can just pick whatever color you want to. If I wanted to make mine green, I could go right here and just hit green, but I have this little circle thing over here in the corner, and I will have to click and drag it over here to be whatever green it is that I want. So the top color is what you're changing it to, and the bottom color is what it currently is. Okay, so right now, you know, before I hit okay, like, you know, right now it's black, but if I want to change it to something else, then, you know, that's what the new one is. So it says new and current, so that's what that means. But I want mine to be white. So if you want something to be pure white, you want to drag it to the very top and to the very left, okay? And you can also be sure that it's white, 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 white. If the little hex code right here, it's called a hex code. A hex code is just a reference code to let someone know exactly what color you're using. But yeah, so if it has F's going straight across, then that means it's white, okay? But I mean, you can use an off-white if you want to, you know, it's up to you. But I'm just telling you what I'm using, okay? So I'm gonna hit okay. So that one looks good. I'm gonna go to posing, do the same thing, drag it to the very top, all the F's, good. For masterclass, I chose this shade of blue. So let me tell you guys exactly what shade of blue in case you want to use the same exact one. Um, so on my reference image, let me turn the opacity up, because if you have the opacity down, then you try to pull color from it, it's not going to be the same exact color. But I'm going to just use my eyedropper tool, click right here, then I'm going to double click here. So I use this as my hex code. So I'm just going to select all that, hold down control, hit C a couple times. I'm going to hit cancel. Then I'm going to put this opacity back down. Okay, I'm going to go back to where it says masterclass, and I'm going to go right here to change the color, and then right here you can paste the hex code. So I can just hold down control, then hit V as in Victor, and then it'll put it right there. So if I hit OK, now I'll change the color. All right, let me save it. All right, cool. So we got that part down. Let me change the color of this right here. Paste that one as well. All right, good. Okay. So I think what we should do is work on one line of text here. Then we'll add in the icons. Then we'll add in these shapes, the titles, and then the diamonds. Okay. Then we'll work on everything else in just a minute. All right. So what I want to do is let's get this text here. I'm just going to duplicate it. I just like to do that because it's just a whole lot easier. I'm going to type in signature posing. So I have my caps lock on currently. Signature posing techniques. So I don't want them on separate lines. I want them all on the same line. Okay. Now, I think I wanted this one to be left aligned. So if you have your paragraph, like bar thingy right here, just hit this, and then you can left align it. Because I think I did that just to help with, you know, alignment. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down a little bit, make it a bit bigger. I think that's good, but I don't want this to be italicized. I'll just do medium. Okay, I'm gonna hit save. Now you might be thinking, oh, all I gotta do is just get this and duplicate it. I mean, yeah, you can. We're gonna do that, but it would be a lot easier if we started duplicating with the like check mark icon, okay? Because I want to duplicate them together. So I'm gonna show you how to do that part. So I'm gonna go to my assets folder. So the check mark right here is green. We're gonna change the color of it. Don't panic. Don't panic, okay? It's okay. Don't panic. So I'm going to click and drag this over here, hover for a second, and then let go. So now I have it here. I'm going to just hit done, and now I'm going to resize it. Size it down. So just get the placement right. We'll worry about the color in just a second. All right. So I'm going to drag this up about here. Really, my goal is just to have it to be aligned with the text here. So let me hide my background because sometimes it can be difficult to see what's going on with the background still on. So I'm going to bring this up to about right there. sometimes when I'm designing, the blue outline around an object can like mess with my brain to the point where I can't tell if something is aligned or not. So I'm going to click a different layer so that way this won't be selected anymore. So that way it's easier for me to see it. Okay. So I think that alignment looks pretty good. So now let's change the color of the check mark. Okay. So, or should I do it now or later? I'll do it now. All right. So I'm going to go right here in this little empty space right here on that layer. So not on the text and not on the thumbnail, but in this empty space. Okay. You want to double click. All right. Not right click. You want to double click. Okay. So this window right here should show up. This is your layer style window. Now you want to go to the one option that says color overlay. So if you don't see that one, then just go right here where it says FX, and then you want to click on where it says color overlay. All right, so I'm a color overlay right now. So let's hit reset to default. So if you hit reset to default, then yours should look like this. It should change the color of it to gray. But if you want to change the color, just hit right here. And then this needs to be blue. So I still have that blue hex code still like in my pasteboard. So I can just hit paste. I can hit Control V on the keyboard, and then it'll make that look blue. Okay. So I'll hit OK. I always leave this one at normal. I'll leave this at 100%. Then I'll hit OK. So that looks good. Okay. And then if you go over here and look inside of your layers panel, like right under the check mark, it'll show you what effect you used. But I feel like this kind of clutters it up a little bit. So I'm just going to go right here and collapse it. All right. So I really like to have my layers panel to be clean. So if I get the check mark and, all of the parts that, you'll be learning, if I get these two things and duplicate all of it, I want them to be in a folder. So that way it just looks a lot neater in my layers panel. So we're going to end up using this little icon right here where you see a little folder. So I'm going to click on the check mark icon. I'm going to click on that layer. I'm going to hold down the control button. Then I'm going to click on where it says signature posing techniques. So right now I only have these two selected. Now you want to go to the little folder icon. You want to click on that. And now it put them in this group right here where it says group 1. I'm going to double click on that and just call it learn list. I don't know. Learning list. I don't know. Well, I got it in all caps. I'll just put learn list. Did I spell it right, y'all? Okay, yeah, I spelled it right. All right, so I'm just going to call that learn list. So something else I like to do too is on this folder, I'll right click. And then where it says color, I'll just change the color of that to something. So that way it's just easier for my eyes to see, to differentiate everything. So I'll just go to color and I'll just make mine green. I don't know. Make it whatever color you want to. All right. So if you go to this little arrow right here and click on it, then it'll show you everything that's in that folder. Now, what I want to do is duplicate everything. So I'm going to, you can duplicate over here by clicking on, like having them both selected and then just hit Command J a bunch of times and then drag it down. But this is the method that I like to do. I'm going to just click on, well, actually, yeah, go ahead and select both of them. And I like to go over here to this side. Let me make sure I bring my reference image back up. And I'll hold down the Alt key and then just click and drag it down. Now, if yours is going like off to the side and stuff, while you still have the Alt key still being held down on the keyboard, hold down the Shift key too, and then it'll only make it go up and down or left and right, but it won't be going like all in between and stuff. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Hold down the Alt key, click and drag, hold down Shift, let go. And all I'm doing is just trying to make sure that it lines up with everything here in the background. Hold down the Alt key, click and drag down, hold down Shift, let go. Hold down the Alt key, click and drag down, hold down Shift, let go. Hold down the Alt key, click and drag down, hold down Shift, and let go. All right. So as you're moving, Photoshop will like let you know if the distance between your lines are the same. So if I go back, if I hold down Alt, drag it down, hold down Shift, then you'll see the like pink lines that are showing up, and you'll see these numbers. It'll show you if like everything is about the same distance apart. Okay, like if you want to get real technical, then you can use that. In this case, I like halfway am. Like this one is showing 11 and 15. That one is showing 12. But as long as it looks good, like I know it's like really minute, but if you want to get like real precise, then just pay attention to those numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna hit save. Now this makes it so much easier on me because all I gotta do is go to like each layer and then just retype what it is that I want. Cause like imagine if you made a text box, typed out what you wanted, then moved it into place. Made another text box, typed out. Who got time for that? Okay. All right. So what you want to do is I'm gonna go to the bottom of this. So we got signature techniques already. So my next one, I gotta pull my list up over here. So my next one is supposed to be facial expression and confidence. Okay. So I got signature techniques already. So you could just go through and tap on each one of these if you want to like enable them to be able to type in them. Like for example, if I want to go in this one and type in it, I can just double click right here and just start typing. That's one way. What I like to do is, since I have my auto select feature turned off, then I like to, let's say I had this check mark selected. Okay, so what I want to do is hold down the control button, and then I can just click on this to select it, and then I can just let it go. So that way I don't have that auto select issue, because when you hold down control, it'll like temporarily enable the auto select feature, and then you can let it go. But that's just something that I like to do. All right. But yeah, so let me just go in here and type in what I need. So, this needs to be in all caps. So I'm gonna do facial expression and confidence. And I got all these I got like all this like information from ChatGPT. I like told it that I was making up like this fake event and stuff. And in case you don't know what ChatGPT is, it is a AI tool that you can use. It's text and image based. But pretty much I just told it, I said, hey, I'm putting together this like flyer. It's a fake flyer, so can you like give me some kind of creative brief? I want it to be hosted by Sabrina Carpenter. What colors should I use? What should I say people will be learning at this event? Blah blah blah. And it just gave me everything. So, but I had to kind of like go back and forth with it though, because I told it that I wanted the address on it to look real, the website, all that stuff. So, but I really recommend that you use AI to give you guys like, you know, ideas on creative briefs, so that way you have something to create. Because I feel like it's a lot easier when it's easier for me to design, at least when people give me like certain things to work with. If you're trying to like just pull something out your brain, like just something random, yeah, it can make you feel a little bit stressed out. Social media presence. All right, so ooh, that look good, girl. It looks good. Oh. All right, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now, okay, so I need to work on, let's see, the details down here. Okay. I think first what I want to do is add the part where it says what you will learn. So let me show you guys how to do that part. So now where it says learn list, I can collapse that. See, that looks so much cleaner because now I don't have to have all that other extra stuff on here. So it just makes it look so much cleaner. And I mean, if you want to group anything else on here, you can. Like if you want to get the title part up here and get that and group it, then you can. It's totally up to you. All right. Okay, so actually, let's work on the model posing text because that needs to have a blue outline around it, right? So let me get this and bring it to the very top, and I'll just make it like that. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like there's white text, but it has a blue outline around it. So I'm gonna go over how to do that part. All right, so I am going to get my model text, so I have that layer selected. So you want to go to that empty space in the layer. You want to double click to bring up your layer style window again. And you are somewhat familiar with this, right? Because this is where we did the color overlay. But we're not doing a color overlay this time. We're going to be doing a stroke. So stroke just means outline. So I have two on mine, but you just need one. And if you don't see it at all, just go to effects and then click on where it says stroke. Okay. So you want to go to this one. You want to make sure that it's highlighted and you want to make sure that it's checked. All right. So for the color here, I still have that blue hex code still copied. So I can just paste it there. And if you don't have yours copied, then you can just, you know, go to another color Like maybe you can like go to like this, actually, hold on, let me show you what you can do. Let's say I didn't have it pasted and I have my color right here on purple. If I am right here inside of my color picker, I can move my cursor over here, and I'm just going to zoom in, hold down the space bar and pan down, and I can just hover right here and click on that blue to get the same exact shade of blue. And I didn't think about telling y'all that, but yeah, you can do that too. All right. So sometimes it could be a bit off, but make sure that you zoom in all the way and try to get the color like right there. Because if you try to select it like over here, now you see like the number isn't the same. It's showing like a lighter blue, and that's because we're working with pixels, you know. But if you try to pick somewhere that's like kind of central, like more in the middle, where like the blues are surrounding that one pixel, then you'll get the right color. Okay. All right. So I'm going to zoom out now. Now there's no certain like thickness you need to have on this. Again, it's totally up to you. I'm putting mine at about 4, 5, something like that. Now for the position, I always click on the outside one because the inside and the center one, they look weird. So I just leave it. I only do the outside one. Blend mode, normal, opacity, 100. Fill type, put that on color. That part's up to you, but I'm just going to put it on color. Then we already changed the color part. All right. So I'm going to hit OK, and that part looks good. Now we got to do the same thing for posing, but check this out. You could go over here and double click and then go to stroke, and then, you know, it's there. Cool. But something else you can do is this little shortcut. If you hold down the Alt key, ALT on the keyboard, if you hold down the Alt key and then hover right here on the model layer, if you look right here where it says FX on that layer, if you click and drag up and then let go of the mouse first, and then the keyboard, then it'll copy and paste the effects onto that layer. So now you see it's on posing, right? So it's not just on model anymore. It's on model and posing. All right, let me hit save. Make sure you're saving, because if your document crashes, it ain't my fault. All right, so we got that part already together. Let's see. So let's go ahead and work on the what you will learn shape, okay? So you want to go right here where your rectangle tool is. So you want to click that one. If you click and hold it down, you'll see these other shapes here, but I'm just going to work with the rectangle tool. So you want to click on that one. You want to click, and I'm not going to start right here at her hand. I'm going to kind of start a bit over here. So I'm going to click and hold down and drag this way. And I know it's not rounded. We're going to make it rounded in a second. Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay. So I did that. I'm not doing anything else. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. You might think, oh, I made my shape. I can just go right here and try to like resize it. I mean, you can, but I just highly recommend that you go back to the move tool, because sometimes if you try to move stuff around, like let's say you want to get this and move it up, right? If you try to move it up, it's just going to make another shape. Okay. It will allow you to resize still like on this tool, but I mean, if you want to, you can. But I just recommend getting the move tool and then trying to resize. Okay. All right. So let me delete that and redo it so that way I'm clear. Okay. Let me go back to the rectangle tool. I'm going to click over here, click and drag out this way. I'm going to let go. So if you want to make sure you have that color, then just go over here where it says fill. I'm going to click there. So this color thingy is a bit different. Okay, so it'll bring up this window right here, and then it'll show you your recently used colors. So I recently used these two blues. They're the same exact blues. It's just showing up twice. But you can either do that or hit this little rainbow rectangle thing right here, and then you'll be using the color picker. And you're more familiar with this because we already used it earlier, right? So yeah, you can use that if you want to. But and then same thing. You can get the eyedropper tool, zoom in to you know, something that already has the blue on it, and you can click on that if you want to. Okay, so I'm gonna hit cancel on that. All right, so this next part might be a bit confusing to you, but bear with me. So when it comes to resizing things in Photoshop, it can be a little bit tricky. So I'm still on my shape tool. Okay, so again, all I did was I just went and did this. And right now mine is too big, so you're going to see me size it down. So I could hover right here and then click and drag this down. So I mean, that does work, right? But on your end, it might be trying to do this and resize the entire thing. Now, depending on your settings, you might have this little chain link thingy on right here. That chain link thing, it helps you to keep the proportions the same when resizing. Okay, so it's really saying like this versus this. Okay, so if yours is like doing the opposite of what mine is doing, or is doing the opposite of what it is that you want it to do, just hold down the shift button when you go to resize it. Okay, then you'll get what it is that you want. All right. So I'm just gonna focus on, oh snap, see, I'm redrawing another shape on accident. Okay, but I'm going to just focus on the height for right now. See, that's why I don't like using the rectangle tool while I'm trying to resize. I like using the move tool. Okay, see, now mine's doing that weird thing. Okay, I need to bring this inwards, but it's making my whole shape smaller, so let me hit undo. And now I gotta hold down shift. I'm gonna bring it to about like right here. I'm gonna get this side, hold down shift, click and drag it to about like right there. I'm gonna hit done. Okay, so once you have that, notice how I have the left side of this rectangle like over her hand. We're gonna end up getting the shape and send it behind Sabrina in a little minute. But we gotta work on curving the edges, like curving the corners. Okay, so right now everything is like super sharp. Okay, so I'm gonna get my rectangle tool, make sure that it's selected. I'm currently on the move tool, but if you look over here in your properties panel, you'll see all these zeros right here. It's like showing you the like values for each of the corners, like how curved they are. So right now they're not curved at all. That's why they're so sharp. Right now everything is at 0 pixels. So I like to just click inside of one of them, and I have this chain link thingy on. It's not looking like this. It's looking like that. Okay. So I like to just click inside of one of these text boxes right here, and I just like to use the up arrow key a few times. So I'm gonna do maybe like, I don't know, 7. Then I'll hit enter on the keyboard, and it's kind of hard to see the edges, so I'm gonna click a different layer so I can see. And now it's a lot more rounded. So you can round it off however you want to. I'm gonna go back, but notice how I only changed the number of the top left one right here, but it changed all of them. That's what the little chain thingy is. If you change one, then it'll change all of them. But if you uncheck it, then if you change only one corner, then it'll only change that one corner. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and increase this number. I just kind of keep playing around with it. There's no one number that you gotta have. I want mine to be rounded like to the fullest. So let me keep going. I'll do like 44, see what happens. That looks good. That was good. All right, so now I want to add the text on top of it. So the text needs to say what you will learn. So I'm going to just get this text from up here. I'm going to duplicate it and bring it down. Let me just type in what you will learn. I did mine in all caps in the example. You will learn, and I made it, I made it white as well. I forgot. Okay, yeah, so I have to make it white. I didn't want it to be italicized. And I also have, let me just bring it down here. And if yours is like behind your, like if yours is doing this, remember, just get that layer and bring it up. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down here. And in my example, I have the what you will learn text to have a lot of letters, a lot of letter spacing in between. So if I have this text selected, I can't speak, I'm so sorry. Then what I want to do is increase the spacing. So y'all have done this part before with the masterclass text. So I'm going to increase that number right there. So again, it could be whatever you want it to be. I think I might stop mine about probably about right there. I think I might want the text to be slightly smaller too. It just can't interfere with you know, the like her hand, but I'll be able to see it a bit more clear when I like make that whole double vision thing go away. I just like to kind of roughly lay things out first. All right, so I'll worry about fixing that part in a minute. So where it says what you will learn and the blue rectangle, you can just duplicate that part for where it says class details. Okay, so I'm going to get the what you will learn layer. I'm going to hold down the control button, then I'm going to click on rectangle, then I'm going to let go. Now I'm going to hold down the alt key, or you can do command J same thing. Or copy and paste, Control C, Control V, it's up to you. But I'm going to hold down the Alt key. I'm going to click and drag this down and then let go. Oh wait, I'm going to undo it because it didn't go in a straight line. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, click and drag it. Oh wait, what's going on, girl? Wait, I didn't have them both selected. So what you will learn, hold down Control, tap rectangle, let go of Control. Now I'm going to hold down the Alt key. Now I'm going to click and drag this down. Now while I'm still holding everything down, I'm going to hold down the Shift key to make sure it's going in a straight line. Now I'm going to let go of the mouse first, then the keyboard. Okay, I'm going to hit save. All right, that looks good there. So I'm going to get this rectangle, and I'm going to click on it one time and then click and drag it inwards. Is it changing the size of the whole thing? Yes. I hate when it does that on accident. I'm going to hold down Shift instead just to bring it over like this instead, right? Big difference. Okay, do this. Maybe bring it over slightly. All right, I'm gonna hit done. I'm gonna hit save. All right, move this out the way. And if the little contextual bar things get on your nerves, just move it. All right. So now we gotta work on the dates. So I feel like in my example, when I was making it, I think I made the text a little bit too thin. I'm just gonna make them slightly thicker this time. But where it says what you will learn, I'm gonna go on there and just type in class details. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to left align this because I'm going to go to the little paragraph thing. Click here and try to align it to the left right there. And this text needs to be blue. So I'm going to click there, hit OK. And I don't want any spacing in between. And then I want it to be, I might do regular. What did I do for this one up here? This one is medium. Okay, so I'll do medium for this as well. Oh, you know what? Let me actually get this and delete it. I'm going to pull this text. I'm going to get this and duplicate it and bring it down here. But notice, when I duplicated this, it still kept it inside of that folder. So whichever one I have selected, which is this one right here, I'm going to click and drag it above the learn list to get it out of that folder. Now I'm going to close that folder. And it's still green, but I'm going to click it. I think I might make that one, I don't know, I'll do magenta. I'm going to click and drag it below it. It really doesn't matter if it's above or below it, but I just didn't want it to be inside that folder because it might mess me up later. And let me show you what I mean. Like if I click on where it says learn list, click on like that one folder, I'm able to move it around like this. So because if I would have left this text in there, then it would have been trying to drag that around with it. Okay. But let me actually make a folder for the class details. So I'm going to click on the folder right here. Okay. I'm going to call this, I'll just put details. Oh, snap. I'll put details there, and then I'm going to put this inside of that folder. So I'm going to click and hold it down and then hover on top of that and then let go. And it'll like kind of indent itself to let you know that it's in that folder. Like look at how this T is kind of over to the right a little bit in comparison to the other ones. Okay. All right. So I have this one here. So I'm going to type in the date. So I just put March 10th, 2025. So in my example, I see that I made my text a bit bigger because I didn't want it to look exactly like, you know, the text above it. So I'm gonna go about right here. All right. So I have that there. I'm gonna duplicate that part. So I just called this Avalon Studios, and I had ChatGPT to give me that name. But I don't know if it's real. I mean, I told it to give me an address that looks real, but is fake. So I don't know if that address is real, y'all. I don't know. Okay, so for the address, I made that text a bit thinner. And I made it smaller. So I'm just going to decrease this Probably about like right there. And I know I put like Sunset Boulevard or something. Yeah, so I did 6780 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. Oh, I forgot I did this. I was gonna show y'all something. So if you look at the example, you can kind of slightly see it. In between where it says Boulevard and Los Angeles, I did a little like bullet point. So what you could do is go in here and hit spacebar a couple of times and then like type out Los Angeles, California or whatever. Then you could go over here and get a circle, make it smaller and put it in between there. But that's a lot. But what I ended up doing in my case, and you probably can't do this in all fonts, but if you have like a more like popular font, what you could do is let me see. I think I have it in another window. Point. Oh yeah, here we go. You could just type in something like bullet point, copy and paste, and I can just like go to any website really. And if you see one, you can just get it and copy it because the computer is seeing it as text. So just like how it sees this letter B as the letter B, it's seeing this as text as well. So I'm gonna just select it, hold down Control, hit C on the keyboard, and then I can just go over here, so I can get rid of all those spaces that I made. I'm gonna hit D space. Now I'm gonna hold down Control, then hit V as in Victor, and I was there. Okay. There's also like a shortcut to do on the keyboard, but that's too much. We ain't gonna do that today, y'all. We ain't gonna do that. All right. So I'm gonna just type in Los Angeles, CA, and it was 90028. Oh, I can't see it. Text box too small. All right, so I think in my case, I'm gonna just get this and make it slightly smaller, cause it would have been like about like right here originally. I'll go about right there. I think that looks good. All right, save your document. Okay, I don't like all this other empty space below it, so I'm gonna just bring this up. Okay, that part's optional. All right, so now I gotta make the price. So I made it $7.50. Okay, so I'm just going to get I'll get the March one. It really doesn't matter. I'll drag that down. $7.50. So I want you to see something. I'm losing my voice, y'all. Oh my goodness. So I want you to see something. I have a $sign on here, and it's like at the top left of the number 750. So you could get a separate text box, go right here, type in the $sign, and just make it smaller, then throw it up there if you want to. But what I like to do is I'll get the number, so I'll just put 750 right there. I might bring it over slightly. Hold on, I might put it like right there. I'll double click. I'll put the cursor like on the left of the 7. I'll type out the $sign, and now I'm going to just only select the $sign. So to do that, just click and drag your mouse, and over here in your properties panel, you should see where it says type options. So you want to open that part up, and then you'll see this one right here. So I believe they call it a subscript, or is that the bottom one? What do they call it? I'm trying to see what it's going to say when I hover. Superscript. Oh, I'll just be saying exponent. So, but if I click on that one, then it'll bring it up like that. And I just like how that looks. But if you do that and you probably don't like exactly how high it brings up the $sign, if you want to bring it down a little bit, then what you could do is go back into that text box, and then select on the $sign. And then up here in your properties panel, you want to click on the little 3 dots up here under the color thing. And then right here, this is called baseline shift. So if you click one time in there, then if you hit the down arrow key a few times, then it'll push it down. But I want mine to be, at first mine was a little bit too like above the number 7. So I just wanted to bring it down about like right there. And that's something that's like, it's so small, but I don't know. I like that. I don't know. Okay. So I'll just get this and bring it here. So that way it's in alignment with the M, the A, the 6. Okay. I'm gonna hit save. Let me make this text box slightly smaller. All right. Okay, so now I gotta put limited spots available. So again, I'm gonna just duplicate this. Actually, I don't want to confuse you guys. Well, actually, let me show you. I'll show you. If I duplicate this and make the box this big, and if I delete everything and then I start trying to type in limited spots, you might be like, oh no, why is everything all small and stuff? What am I do? What am I gonna do? All right, I'm gonna hit undo. The reason why I did that is because when you delete all this stuff, the very first thing that was in here was the $sign. So it's going to keep the properties of that character. Okay, so I'm gonna hit undo. But if you wanted to not have that to happen, then you could just delete the $sign first and then go back and delete everything else, you know, and then you can go ahead and start typing. Now everything is bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna do limited spots available. Ooh, I need to make this text a lot smaller. Girl, how did I get the fit before? I don't know. Available. All right, I still kept typing even though you can't see it. But I'm gonna just have that text selected, make the text smaller. There we go. That looks good. Okay, and they look about the same size, so it's all good. Okay, I think that's fine. I was looking at my spacing in between. It looks like there were some spaces in between the A and the V, and I didn't like that, but it's okay. All right, so I have that part done. And I mean, if you want to go back and make sure that the spacing in between each one looks good, then go ahead. But like I said, I was just tracing it, so I was just eyeballing what I did before. All right, so the details. Oh, I didn't right click on that and make it magenta, just to make it easier to see. So if I was to click on that folder, then I'm able to move all this stuff around at once. So like I said, it just makes everything a whole lot cleaner. All right. Now the icons. So we have this calendar icon, this location icon, a money bag icon, and then a ticket icon. So what you can do is go over to your assets folder with everything I gave you guys. So you have the ticket here, the money bag, the location, and then the calendar. So you can just get all those and drag them in individually if you want to. But I like to work faster. So what I like to do is click on one icon. Just click on it one time. Don't double click it because then you're going to open the file up. But yeah, so just click on it one time. I like to hold down the control button, or you can hold down command if you're on a Mac. I'm going to do this to select them. I'm not going to let go of control. Now I can click and drag over here, hover for a second, and then let go. So now it's going to show up like this. So you might be like, girl, where are my other icons? I'm finna die. What's going on? Heart attack, heart attack. I got you. Listen, click on the done button. That one's in there. Done again. That one's in there. Done again. That one's in there. Done again. Now they're all in there. Okay. So what you're going to do is click on that one icon and then the other one. So hold down control. Click this one. Click this one. Go ahead and put all of those in a folder by themselves. I'm going to call these icon details, or detail icons. Yeah. Detail icons. Okay, I'm gonna open this one up. I want to actually change the color of that one so I don't get confused. I'll make it purple or violet, that's what they say. All right, so I'm gonna have all these selected at once. So, and to do that, you could go through and do this, or you could just select the folder itself. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna go and resize this. And I just like to do this so that we can get them to be about the same size before I start to separate them. But you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can do it individually. Think about right here looks good. Maybe there. Hit done. Now, I'm going to get the ticket icon. I'm going to click and drag that down. I'm going to hold down shift. Let go. Perfect. Money bag. Click and hold that down. I'm holding down the shift button again to make sure it's going in a straight line. Good. Now the location icon. Same thing. All right, I'm going to hit save. All right, now to change the color of the icons, y'all have done this, I think, twice already? The color overlay thing, right? So where it says detail icons, so before we were doing this, individually. We were like double clicking on something and then changing it here. But you can do it for the entire group if you want to. So that's why I did that. So that way you guys can work smarter and not harder. Anyways, so you want to go right here where it says detail icon. So you want to double click in this empty space. Okay, in the empty space, double click. Now you want to go to color overlay, and my color is really already, it was already in there from last time. But you know how this part works, okay? You want to click on there, get the blue. Yeah, all right. Hit OK, hit OK. Now we're good there. I'm gonna hit save. Now what are we doing? Let me hide this. What we gotta do now, y'all? What we gotta do now? Let me zoom out. Really, we're almost done with this one. I'm so excited. Because it's so easy. It's so easy. Like, this is all you really got to know in Photoshop, I promise you. I mean, there's some other stuff that's hard, but we're not going to talk about that today. All right, so now if you want to add these little diamond things, now you might be thinking, oh, is it in here? I don't see it. No, because I'm going to teach you something. So you want to go to your rectangle tool. So you want to click on that one time. So I want to show you something. If you click and do this and keep dragging out, it's not going to make a perfect square. Now, I'm not going to let go of the mouse. If I hold down the shift key, now it's going to try to make a perfect square now. If I keep trying to drag our mouse around in a circle, it's still going to keep a perfect square. Now, when I say perfect square, I mean that the width is the same as the height, okay? So if it's 3 inches tall, then it's going to be 3 inches wide, all right? So what you want to do is go ahead and make your perfect square. Now you want to go back to the move tool. Okay, so all I did was I turned this square into a diamond and then I stretched it. So if you want to move something, you know how that part works. If you want to resize something, you know how that part works, right? But if you want to rotate something, you want to hover your mouse on the corners until you see this icon right here. You see how it's like 2 arrows and it's like a curved line in between them, connecting them. You want to click and drag that. Now right now it's moving in like small increments, but if you want to kind of like lock it to like a fixed position, like you want to put it right at 25 or right at 45 degrees or 90, you want to hold down the shift key on the keyboard. So I'm going to put mine at the 45 degree mark. Okay, and if yours isn't the same number, all it is just that, like, if you're going this way, yours might say negative 135 degrees, same thing. All right, so you're going to hit done. And now this part is somewhat optional. You just want to, and you might think, oh, I can just click and do this. No, you're resizing the whole thing. It's not what we want to do. You want to hold down. Well, like I said, it depends on your settings. You might have the little chain link thing turned on, so it depends. So doing this might work for some people. It might go ahead and do this for you. But yeah, anyways. But in my case, I have to hold down the shift key and then click and drag down like this, because I want a diamond about right there. Yeah, about right there. So I'm going to hit done. So once you hit done, now you want to rotate the whole thing. So I'm going to hover right here, click and drag it, hold down shift to get it perfectly, like, you know, side by side, or I guess like horizontal. So now you need to change the color of this. So don't panic. Even though you don't see like the color thingy up at the top or the color thingy over here on the right side, it's okay. I think even if you try to go back to the rectangle tool, it won't even show you. Oh yeah, well, it'll show you up there. But what I do is, if I'm still on the move tool, right here on my thumbnail of the shape, I'm gonna double click on that, and now I'm able to change the color. Okay, so I'm gonna go to white, hit OK. I'm gonna click and drag it down. I think I wanted mine to be a bit wider. Yeah, so I'm gonna click on this and then make it slightly wider. That's just how I did mine, but again, it's optional. I'm gonna put this about right here. And then y'all know how to duplicate stuff already, either Control J or Alt and drag. So I'm gonna hold down Alt, click and drag it that way, hold down Shift. I'm gonna add a little bit of spacing in between. Okay, so I have that part there. I think I might get all those and put them, yeah, I'm gonna put all these in a folder as well. I'm gonna get all those. I'll just call them diamonds. All right. Make sure you're hitting save. Okay. All right. So I have that part there. If you want to change the color of it, you can. Sometimes I do just to be extra. It really don't matter. All right. So I'm gonna zoom out. So I know we're not done yet, but sometimes what I like to do is I'll get my reference image, which is right here, and I'll just hide it to see how it looks. It look good so far. It look good so far. Like, hold on, let me click off of this. Hold on. Like, that's good so far. We're not done yet though. We gotta add the lipstick on there. We gotta add the website at the bottom. We gotta like bring her head in front of the letters. We gotta bring the shape behind her hand. Like a couple of little things, and then we'll be done. Okay. All right. With this one. All right. So let's bring the reference image back. All right. So I want to let's bring the shape behind her hand. Okay, so I have this shape right here. Let me, again, I'm going to hide the reference image so it makes it a bit easier to see. So I have the reference image right here. Hold on. I have the rectangle right here. So remember, I said we're working in layers in Photoshop. So right now, the rectangle is above her hand, right? So you got to drag it below that layer. So what you want to do is just either click and drag. Well, yeah, I don't want to say either, but you just want to click and drag it down. All right, so right now this is above her hand. Now I want to drag it below her hand. So yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so now where her thumb is right here, I think I want to get this text and drag that behind her as well. Oh wait, I gotta keep going. So yeah, that's fine, but I think honestly I would just probably move it over. I think that's fine. Now for her hair right here, I think, I think it's fine where it's at. But for the letter P, click and drag that behind her. As long as it's still readable, Like if it was like this, then no. But I'm just going to put it about right there. The M is fine. Because I was trying to see if I wanted to put this M behind her hair or not. Let me see how it looks. Oh, you can't even tell. Oh, because I had not erased it, but I masked it out in the example. So never mind. It's fine. I think that's okay. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. All right, let me hit save. So now what I want to do is kind of like position some of my stuff a little bit. I think this looks good here. I have to like move this over because the spacing was a little bit off. All right. Oh, we also got to add the little like ornate line at the very top of the design. All right, so let's bring the reference image back. Let's do a couple of easy things. Let's add her little like logo right here. So where is it? Oh, I gotta go find it. It's on the internet. I forgot. I thought I gave it to y'all. I guess I didn't. So I guess you're gonna watch me go through it. So I'm gonna go to Google and just type in Sabrina Carpenter logo. So once you go to that, you want to go to images. So I ended up using this one. So I saw this one too, but I'm gonna just use this one. And it kind of has like this embroidery feel to it. But there is a certain font that she used. Let me see, because I can't remember the name of it. Hold on. Let me see. I'll put font used espresso Sabrina. Yeah, because I looked it up. What font did they say it was? Because I downloaded it. Or I already had it. I don't know. It's called Tempting. Are y'all sure? Let me see. Because if that's the one, then I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to be like, what, girl? Okay, let's go back. I'm going to just add some. I'm going to get this text and just move it right here. And I'm going to type Tempting up here to see if I have it already. Oh, I do. Ooh. Okay, so if you want to go online and get that font and just download it, then you can. That's the easy way, but I'm gonna show you the somewhat hard way. All right. Imagine if you want to get her logo right here and you want to put it on your document, but there's like a, you don't want that embroidery look, and then the color is also different. You don't want that like texture on there. You want to get rid of the background. Like there's a lot of factors here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to see if there's another option just in case. Ooh, this one would be easy. Hold on, y'all. This one really would be easy. But I want a bigger photo. Yes. There we go. If y'all can find this one, then just use that one. All I did was I clicked on one. So what did I click on? I clicked on this one first. And that's what I typed in, Sabrina Carpenter logo. So you want to click on one and then just kind of like look over here in the related images section, and then you'll be able to find it. That one, no, that one still has that embroidery look to it. I'm going to use this one instead. So just get that one, copy it, go over to Photoshop. Then you want to paste it. Oh snap, hold on. Okay, I'm going to paste it right here. This one kind of has like a 3D effect to it, but I'm going to hide that. Like, I ain't got time. All right, so right now this is not a smart object. So what I like to do is, since it's not a smart object yet, I'm just going to leave it at this size first. I'm going to get the marquee tool. Wait, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Yeah, I'll do it. All right. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to confuse y'all. But after you paste it in here, just right click on it. Go to convert to smart object, and then you're going to size it down. Okay. Now the sides of it, like all that extra space, we'll get rid of that in a minute. So what I want to do is keep only the text and not the background, right? So you might be thinking, oh, well, we could just hit remove background. Oh, that might work, but let's see what happens. It might get rid of some stuff that we want to keep. Oh, no, it actually didn't get rid of everything that we wanted it to. So what I recommend that you guys do is convert this image to a black and white image. So if you're on that layer, I'm going to just put logo. Okay. I'm going to go down here. So in your layers panel, you want to go down here to the bottom. You'll see this little half and half circle. It's like half is black, half is white. So you want to click on that, and then you'll see something that says black and white. So click on that. And when you click on that, as long as this is above an image with color, then it'll make it look black and white. So notice how all of the text up here is blue because the black and white layer is not above it. Okay, but if I was to get it and drag it above it, then it'll make everything just be black and white, gray, So I'm gonna just drag it only above the logo. Now to get it to only apply to the logo and not the picture of like Sabrina and everything else in the background, what I'm gonna do is go to the black and white layer. I'm gonna right click in this empty space. I'm gonna hit create clipping mask. Okay. Now what I want to do is select both of these layers. So I'm going to have that one selected, hold down control, click on logo, let go. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to do convert to smart object again. Now it's like permanently black and white. Okay. Now what you want to do is go to this empty space on the layer. You want to double click and you'll be in your layer style window. So you should already be on where it says blending options, but if you're not on that, just make sure you click on it right here. Now, in this area right here, you'll see this little bar. So you see the one that says current layer. This is what's going to help you get rid of the background. Okay, so follow me. You want to slowly click and drag this over to the left. Now, if you go crazy and try to do this, then it's going to start getting rid of the black. Okay, but don't worry. I would say just try to get as close as you can, because notice how like this has some wispy lines in it. Like look at the C, like the end of the C, like right here and the end. They're like really thin, so that's why it's easy for Photoshop to try to get rid of it. But I'm going to go about like right here. I still have some white space, or I guess like white like selection around mine. But if you hold down the Alt key on the keyboard, so hold down Alt and try to click and drag this, it'll help you to refine it a little bit more. So I think this is the closest I'm going to go. And then I'm going to show you something else. So I have that part. Now what I like to do is go to, I'll hit OK. And now what I want to do is right click on this layer. I want to convert it to a smart object again. Now it got rid of all that extra space that was on the side. So it made the actual image a smart object. So it recognized that there was nothing else. They recognized that there were empty pixels. There were like no pixels like even existing on the sides of the image. So does that make sense? Okay. All right. So I still have that white space around it. So what I'm going to do now is and even again, notice how it's only selecting, or it's only like recognizing the image and not that other empty space that was on the sides. But now what I want to do is double click right here. You want to go to color overlay now, because if I have this white space, I could just make it look black to make it blend in, right? So I'll go to color overlay, make sure it is checked, and I'm going to this color. I'm going to make it white. Now I'm going to hit OK. And you might be like, well, I kind of don't like how the edges look. Girl, it's going to be so small, no one's going to care. Like, look. Hold on. It's still doing that thing on the side. So what I'm going to do is right click it and then do convert to smart object again. So now I don't have to worry about it. All right. But yeah, no one's going to even like notice the whole like fuzzy edge thing on this because it's so small. In most cases, yeah, it does matter. But right here, it doesn't matter. All right. But yeah, it still looks sharp right there. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to hit save. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is add the website. So and all this is just a white rectangle with text on it. So that's easy to y'all. Okay. I'll just go here, get the rectangle tool. I'll just click and drag up, stop it at about right there. Make sure the color of it is white. Okay, I'm gonna get some text. I'll just get this one right here. I'll duplicate it. Make sure that it is this color. Okay, right now you can't see it, so I gotta bring it above. Okay, so I put mine over here. So it needs to say, I gotta also get rid of that spacing in between too, so I'll put it at 0. So mine is going to say details at sabrinamodeling.com. So details at Sabrina. And I also like capitalized the first letter so it's easier to read it if someone's like skimming over the entire thing. Okay, so I have this here, but in my example, I have the words details and at to be thinner. So I'm going to click and select that part. I'm going to go over here, and I think I just probably did a light. Is that what I did? Yeah, it looks about right. And then for the Sabrina modeling part, I'm going to make that a bit bolder, because when it comes to call to actions or telling someone to do something, go somewhere, how to get information, or how to get, a product or whatever, then yeah, that's what you want to do. You just want to make it easier to see. All right, so I'll put this here. I might have to make it slightly smaller because of I gotta add the lipstick on there. Okay, I think that was pretty good. Okay, let me hit save. So I have to also put the rectangle behind Sabrina. Okay, so I'll select her, and then I'm going to click and drag down right there. So if I hide my reference image, then you can see I have this rectangle behind Sabrina. Okay, I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna zoom out. All right, y'all, it looks like we're done, but I feel like there's something missing. Oh, like I said, the lipstick. Okay, so let's go here. Let's get our lipstick. I'm gonna click and drag this over here. I'm gonna hit done. So don't panic. I understand the lipstick has a black background, but just hit remove background. All right, cool. So, and I mean this bottom part with the whole like shadow thing, if you want to get rid of it, you know how to, but in my case I don't need to because I have part of the lipstick like cropped out anyways. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this, put it about like right there. All right, so let me show you guys my example again, like more clear this time. So if you look at this, notice how I don't have that MAC logo on the lipstick. Okay, and it's also a slightly different color, so I'm going to show you guys how to do that part. Okay, So let me get rid of this. Okay. So make sure you're on your lipstick layer. Okay. Make sure there's nothing above it. So what you want to do is make a new layer. So I'm going to hit create new layer. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this, but this is just one that I like. So you want to go right here on this little like band-aid tool. And this is going to like help you get rid of some little like small blemishes. So I'm going to use the spot healing brush tool. And I'm saying the spot healing brush tool because depending on your computer or laptop or whatever, using the remove tool, it can be really heavy on your computer and it can like make your fan really run hot. So I don't think I should teach that today. But it's pretty self-explanatory though. But anyways, so but I just want to, I'm trying to think about everybody. So yeah, get the spot healing brush, and you want to make sure that sample all layers is indeed checked. And then I like to have my brush to be a little bit smaller. And then generally what you want to do is just go over that area. And then it'll get rid of it. Okay. But all that part didn't look good. Hold on. That looks good. Okay, but all it's doing is Photoshop is using AI and it's sampling from areas around that area that you're drawing in, and it's trying to make them match. Okay, so it's not like it said, "Oh yeah, I heard what you said. You want me to get rid of the Mac logo on there?" Okay, it doesn't understand all that. It just knows visuals. So it's like, okay, I understand that. I can pull from this lighter area, this darker area, same thing over here, here, and I'll try to make it match. So yeah, that's how it works though, because it doesn't understand English, y'all. All right, but it understood what we wanted though. All right, so I'm gonna hit save. But yeah, all it did was it just did this. So yeah, that's all it did. It's pretty cool though. All right, so I got that part there. So what I like to do is once it makes that new layer, I'll just get these two and I'll just link them together. So that way if I try to move it, it'll move them together. Okay. Alrighty. So we have that part there. So this part, it can be really like hard to work with sometimes. It's hard for me to teach it because it's kind of time consuming. So notice how the lipstick is red, but like I wanted the lipstick to kind of match the color of her lips. So what you can do is go down here to the little half and half circle. Go to where it says solid color. I forgot for a second. And I'm just going to pick an outrageous color like green or something. Something that would be a lot easier to see. All right. So I'm going to zoom in to this bottom right corner where the lipstick would be at. You don't have to worry about this being seen. It's okay. Just make sure that the color is right above your actual lipstick layer. So with this layer selected, the color layer selected, you want to go up here where it says normal and you want to click there. And I like to either just get my mouse and hover on each thing. I'm not clicking, I'm just going to hover. Or I can just get the down arrow on the keyboard and I'll just go down and look at how the color reacts with the actual lipstick product. Okay, so ignore everything else, just focus on the actual lipstick. So depending on, because you might end up using a different color lipstick or whatever, but the colors will interact with the image differently, so it's never going to be the same thing. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna put about right there. So what I want to do now is, and you might not pick color, it's okay, but what I want to do now is click on my layer mask. I'm gonna hit delete. Oh wait, if yours is acting weird, if like the thing up here where it says color or normal or whatever, if it's still blue, just hit enter on the keyboard to get out of that mode. Sometimes it glitches and does that. But yeah, so click on your layer mask, hit delete, and now you want to hold down the alt key and then hit on this little square with a circle on it, and it's going to make a layer mask, but everything is hidden. So now you got to bring everything back. So the point of this is I can get my brush tool, I can make the color white, and now I'm able to paint in the color that I'm getting ready to change. So I'm not going to leave this green. This is just like helping me to know, it's helping me to be able to see. Because if I would have tried to make it like a different shade of red or something, it would have been blending in with the actual image. So that's why I picked something that was real off. Okay, so try to get as close as possible. Um, and I'm using a soft round brush right now, but I'm going to switch it in a second. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to switch it to the hard round brush because it's a lot like, it's a lot more harsh like this, okay? Versus the other one being like, softer. All right. So I'm going to, switch this over. If you make your brush smaller or if you zoom in, then you can get like really, like more accurate like selections, or I guess like edits, if that makes sense. All right. So I don't like how that looks, cause I guess it's like a reflection. Well, I know it's not. I don't know. I'm improvising here, y'all. Okay. I'm trying to get around here. And actually, I'm doing all this, but I really could have just right clicked it and hit create clipping mask. I'm so stupid. But yeah, but just like get as much as you can. But really, you did like the whole editing thing so that way you wouldn't have the color to be on this part of the lipstick. So I'm going to try to get rid of mine. Let me get the soft round brush. And I like to sometimes lower the opacity a little bit just to kind of make it blend a bit better. Because I feel like it's a little bit too harsh right here. There we go. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna hit save. So what you can do is you can double click on the color right here and you can make it whatever color you want to. So if I want to make it blue, I can. If I want to make it this pink, I can. But the thing is, I want it to be the same color as her lipstick that she's wearing. So, and you might be thinking, oh, well, all I gotta do is just double click right here, hover my mouse over here on her lips, and I'll be good. But I feel like mine is still a little bit too dark. I could pick like a lighter color of pink, but still, it's like not going to affect it. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So, this color that you put on here, and like these things up here, these are called blending modes. So the blending modes react to light differently. So the original color of this lipstick interacting with this pink that I chose, it's like they're fighting, like the lights and shadows are fighting. So and since I already chose this shade of pink, let me try to pick another one. I'm gonna try to pick like a slightly darker area of her lip, like maybe about like right there. Okay, this is a little bit better, but I want to brighten it slightly. So what you could do is maybe go back over here and maybe like try to see if there's a different one that you like. And I don't. I just try to get like as close as possible where you can still see like that little circular part of the lipstick. But I want to just stay on color, and I'm going to increase the brightness of the original lipstick image. Okay. So what you want to do is go to the lipstick right here. You want to go to this little half and half circle. You want to go to really any one of these. I'll do levels. That was a little bit easier to understand. So once you do that, you want to make sure that it's right above the lipstick, and make sure your setup is just like this too, where it's like your color is on top, that one has a clipping mask, and then the levels is below it, and that has a clipping mask, and then you have your lipstick. Okay, but if you end up messing up somehow and it ends up like this, you don't want that. You want this. Okay, and if you end up having the clipping mask thing turned off, then just right click it, clipping mask, right click it, clipping mask. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go to the levels layer. Right here in your properties panel, you should see where you can edit it. So really all I do is I just keep dragging these until it gets a little bit brighter. So, oh, you know what? I think I'm tripping. I'm making the whole thing brighter. Yikes, I didn't think that part through. Ooh, I didn't think that part through. Maybe I do gotta switch them. I don't know. Do I need to switch them? Maybe this should be down here too. Let me see. But I don't want that. Oh, I know what I didn't do. Oh, I forgot, y'all. Okay, so when you add like the levels layer, it also creates a layer mask. So I'm gonna click right here. I'm gonna hit delete. Then I'm gonna click right here on the one for the color, the layer mask for the color. and I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and then I'm gonna click and drag up onto the levels, and I'm gonna let it go. Okay, so that way the lighting will only affect the actual lipstick color. I forgot, y'all, my bad. Okay, so I have this selected, and now if I try to adjust it, then it's only gonna adjust this part. Okay, so this is how you can make it brighter. Oh wait, I think I like that. I think I like that. Hold on, am I tripping? It's not gonna be like perfect, but I think it's getting closer to what it is that I want. That's what I wanted. Ah! Okay, wait. I think that's what I wanted. About there. It's not like exactly what I wanted because I wanted to like pull some more like shadows from it. Let me try this again. Darken. Am I tripping, y'all? Let me see if I see something else that I like. Hue is decent. I don't know, y'all. Just like do whatever it is that you like, okay? I'm thinking, I don't know. Multiply. Do whatever it is that you like, okay? Because I'm conflicted. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I'm conflicted, y'all. But yeah, just do whatever it is that you like. Because I kind of got pretty close to what it is that I liked. About like there. Or even there. Okay, it's up to you. All right, so we have that there. Just kind of keep playing around with it until you get you. It is that you. Oh my gosh, I can't speak English. Keep playing around with it until you get something that you like. I just can't talk, y'all. Oh my gosh. All right, so you have that part there. I keep thinking that we're done, but we're not. We still gotta add her name. Okay, so the part with her name on it, that looks like where it says like Sabrina Carpenter. Then it says special guest right here. Okay. So this part is real easy to y'all. Like, Photoshop. Okay. So all I gotta do, I'm going to zoom in. I'm gonna get some text. I might just get this text right here. I'm gonna duplicate it. So this text is behind her, but it needs to be in front of her. So click and drag it up. Okay, this text needs to be white. Okay. So I'm just gonna type in her name. Sabrina Carpenter. Okay. So for mine, I selected all of the text in the paragraph section. I want it to be left aligned, so it's like that. Okay, I'm gonna hit the check mark. Okay, and then right under it, it says special guest. So I'm gonna duplicate this. Double click that. I'm gonna type in special guest, and I put special guest all in one line. Hit OK. All right. So I need to also get the rounded rectangle. So I could make a whole nother one, but I got one right here. So I'm going to get this and select it and duplicate it. Make this a bit smaller. Okay. Oh, why did it not keep the size? What in the world? It's trying to embarrass me in front of y'all. All right. Okay, so what I did was I have a white rectangle with blue text. So this, well, I guess rounded rectangle. So I have this to be white, and then I got this. I'm gonna make this that blue color. There we go. So that way it's easy to see it. Oh, gotta bring this up. Oh, there we go. Cause I was like, girl, what happened? All right, so this needs to be a bit wider. I don't know how big I made this shape though. Maybe about like right there. Okay, it's all coming together. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then for her name in this text box, the original line spacing, it was too far apart to me, so I'm gonna bring them together. So that's this right here. So this right here is called the leading. Okay, so if I click in there, I'm just gonna hit the down arrow then it's going to decrease the spacing in between. Or again, you can just go in here and like click on one of the numbers if you want to. It's totally up to you. But yeah, I think that's a little bit too close. The text needs a little bit of room to breathe. About there looks good. Make this a little bit smaller. Personal preference. Okay. So I think this text could be a bit thicker. Let me change that. Did I make that italicized? No, I did not. Bold is kind of too thick. I'll do special guest. All right. So now I have, let's see, I have special guest. Hold on. I need this rectangle, special guest, and her name. I have all of those selected. I'm going to just put them like right here. And I'm going to put those in the folder. I'm going to just call this name tag. And then that part looks good there. Let me zoom out. I don't know how big it should be. I guess about right there. It looks pretty good. Okay. I think I want this outline around the text to be a bit thicker. Stroke. Let's do 7. Where's the posing one? Double click. Stroke. I'll bring that up to 7. I'll go to model. Bring that up some. Okay. Now, y'all, I think this is a little bit too thin. So let's probably bring it up to like regular. There we go. Okay, so I believe we have one more thing to do. We've done so much already. Okay, so the last thing we got to do is add this like ornate line at the very top of the design. So this is just like, a really small thing, but there we go. All right, so what I did here was pretty much the same thing as like how we did for adding her like logo on here. So you have this ornate line in your assets folder, so it's right here. So you want to click, let it hover, let go. I'm gonna hit done. So let's just make this about the width that you want it to be. So maybe about like right there. So, all right. So I need to get rid of the white outline. So do not hit remove background. Okay. So you want to double click in this empty space right here. You want to go right here where it says current layer. You want to click and drag it over like this. So I still have a little bit of white outline left around it. So just try to get like as close as possible, but you don't want to remove any of the black line, obviously. So maybe get like about right here. Now I'm going to hold down the Alt key and click and drag it to the left slightly just to refine it a little bit more. Okay, so I still have some white outline there, but it's okay. I'm going to hit OK. Now I want to right click on this image because I want to get rid of this empty space. Okay, but you want to right click on that image. And let me show you something. If you don't right click on the image and you think you can just double click it and then do the color overlay thing, it's going to do that. So make sure you follow along. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna hit cancel. What you want to do is go over here, right click it, go to convert to smart object. Okay. So that's good. Now you want to double click and then go to color overlay. And I made my color for mine. It's just this blue color that we've been using the entire time. Okay. So once you have that, it's blue. So color overlay, make sure it's blue. Hit OK. I'm going to make mine just like slightly smaller because I didn't want mine to be the exact width of model. But I mean, like I said, it's up to you. It's okay. All right. So I'll do mine about right there. I think that looks pretty good. And y'all, I think we're done. I think we're done, you guys. Hold on. Let me kind of compare. Let me compare and contrast because I kind of can't believe it. I can't believe it. So if you look at the one that we did and then look at this one, ignore my artboard too. Ignore that one because this is a long video already. So, but yeah, they look okay. They look good, y'all. They look good. So this video went on for a super long time. So we're gonna work on the second artboard. That's gonna be another video. Okay. So I'm gonna have that one linked to this one. So that way you're gonna be able to find it. But yeah, you guys, that's the Photoshop crash course. Um, no, you don't know every single thing in Photoshop, but who does? Okay. But this is all you need in order to make content for people. Like maybe you want to edit photos, maybe you're making social media graphics. I don't know, maybe some kind of like simple shirt designs, things like book covers, banners for websites, stuff like that. Okay. No, you do not use Photoshop to make logos. That's a whole nother program because I know somebody's going to ask me. But yeah, book covers, all that type stuff, cards, greeting cards, all that stuff is what you can do in here. Okay. Um, but if y'all have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on working on the second video. I'm sorry this was so long. It's just I needed to be thorough. All right. So again, my name is Jatara. If y'all need me, I'm here, and I'll see y'all in the next video.